Okay, quick history lesson here. Bear with me, it will not be boring. It's March of 1309, and much like Judah and Israel, the papacy has been exiled from its seat. Strangely enough, this time by choice. Kind of. England and France are on the brink of war. I know, big surprise, that never happened throughout history. And it's practically anarchy in Rome. The factions throughout Italy are deemed ungovernable. Pope Clement V, newly elected French pope, after a recent pope was basically kidnapped by a French king, decided to move the papacy to, well, France. So he gathered up his entire papal court and moved them to Avignon. This began the Avignon Papacy, which has been likened in many circles to the Babylonian captivity, a time in which what was left of the tribes of Israel were removed from the Promised Land and forced into captivity. If you don't know what I'm talking about here, I highly recommend you check out Bible in a Year with Father Mike Schmitz, and I will link to that in the description. Fast forward to 1346. People in Europe are starting to show signs of a disease that has been spreading throughout Asia and its trade routes. The Black Death has begun, and tens of millions, if not more, will die in the next 7 years. This is the world in which a child named Catherine and her twin are born into. This is the world in which Catherine would survive her childhood, but her twin and half of her other 24 siblings would not. More on her later. Fast forward to 1376, and the papacy has been run from Avignon for 68 years. Many believe that the French king has too much influence on the papacy, and in some instances, that might be an understatement. Pope Gregory XI is surrounded by cardinals who want to stay in Avignon, but the people want him to move the papacy back to Rome, where it belongs, especially given that the Pope is also the Bishop of Rome. Things are not going well in Rome, though, and the political infighting is so bad, it will eventually lead to the Western Schism, not to be mistaken for the larger permanent Great Schism that happened earlier. There's a woman who wants to see the Pope. This Italian woman is uneducated, mostly illiterate, and comes from a family of wool dyers. So why does the Pope give her an audience? Because it's Catherine, who I mentioned before, from Siena. She is popular among the people because she is considered to be holy. In this world of political infighting, war, and disease, people were drawn to those with humility and virtue. This young woman is able to get an audience with the Pope and convinces him to go back to the seat of Peter in Rome. Yep, in the 1300s, the celebrities of the day were holy people. Let that sink in. Catherine was uneducated, from a humble background, and spent much of her time caring for the poor and sick, which, given the time period, was really risky behavior. At the age of 6, she had her first vision of Jesus dressed in the robes of a pope. As a teenager, she fasted and cut her hair short in order to discourage her parents from trying to marry her off or from attracting the attention of men. As a young woman, she would experience what she called a mystical marriage with Jesus. She took very seriously her role as bride to Christ. Later in life, you would find her nursing the sick and dictating letters to anyone she felt needed a message. This drew people to her, and she had quite a following, like a entourage, giving her power that money and legacy could not achieve. She was outspoken and immersed herself in the hectic and often violent politics of the day, calling people to change their ways, including people of power like the Pope. And her words had influence because she had such a major backing from the people. I see some parallels in her world and in ours. You have people now that are in schism with the church due to their questioning of the Pope's validity. You have a pandemic, although nothing like the Black Death, where those tending to the sick made great sacrifices. You have political infighting that has resulted in violence. With all that said, we don't make our holy people celebrities. We still cling to idols. Those with influential power promote vanity and sin. There are so many out there who might not be mystics like St. Catherine of Siena, but they work diligently to feed the poor, care for the sick, console the prisoner, and challenge the sinner. We should make them the celebrities. Now, you might be thinking, Jen, you probably want to be a celebrity. No, I am not looking to be a celebrity myself, but I would like to continue spreading the stories of these amazing holy people so that they can have more celebrity and that we can learn their stories to follow in their footsteps. I can only do that with your support. So thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed and commented and shared my videos and channel. You are truly amazing. St. Catherine of Siena, pray for us.